The lighting in here is crazy hot, and I'm in Florida. I will probably have greasy hair within the hour, so let's get started. I'm going to be using these gloves to unpackage this thing because I bite my nails. I'm sure you don't want to see that. Also, the color scheme kind of matches. So this is the DPVR E4, also codenamed Pegasus, and they say it's only for the elite players because their kind of angle is this is the best headset you can get if you're into esports or VR esports, which is an interesting angle. I'm not sure if that's going to work well, but we will see. You can see right here, their big advertisement is that it's Steam VR compatible. There's not many boxes that come out like this that don't have their own store and are entirely focused on actually supporting Steam VR. You do have to download some third-party software to make it work, but they say it's not as intrusive as other situations such as Windows Mixed Reality or the HTC Vive console, and those are actual examples that they say they're like around 40 to 50% faster than those third-party driver programs. So that's what all this is about. DPVR Assistant, third-party apps, does not run in SteamVR completely natively. Some other interesting markings on the box is they say it will work on any angle that you incline yourself. So if you want to lay around, which is actually what I spend most of my time when I play VR chat, it will work. We'll see about that. Again, more SteamVR listings here. Immerse yourself in SteamVR. And they say it's light comfort. I think they mean to say it's light and comfortable, because when you say light comfort in this grammar, that usually means it's not very comfortable. Whatever. So this model we're about to open up here, just for disclaimers, is a DV unit, which stands for Design Verification. It's one of the last steps before mass production. Usually the last step is PVT. And usually when products get the DV, they're pretty much done and called for, so there should not be much changes from what you see here in the final product. Unless you're the Quest Pro, which went to PVT, had a huge issue with the depth sensor and decided to go back to DV and remove it, and then PVT2, which is actually what happened with that product. This is actually very sealed tight. All right. Throw that on the floor. Pretty simple. I mean, it's got all the what seems to be the wires and cabling inside this giant box. This is actually a lot heavier than I expected. We'll open that in just a moment, but right away you can see the headset. They say one of the differences of this DV unit compared to the final version is this front panel apparently is not holographic. I don't know exactly what that means. I'm guessing it's just either does not have the RGB or they want to make this even more shiny, similar to a holographic card. I don't know, but it feels very light for sure, but also pretty plasticky. So interesting thing about this headset right away as well is I haven't seen this design used in a consumer product for a bit of time now. The last product I can think of was the HTC Vive Cosmos, and that did not go well. But it has a flip-up design, so when you wear it up the head, you can literally flip it up so you can actually see what you're doing, which is kind of the opposite concept of what's kind of popular right now. Instead of using cameras to see your real-life view, just flip up the visor and see how things go. You can see this is the actual lenses. They look pretty large. I'm not sure if that's actually true. I just took off the facial interface here, which is completely all rubber. Very bizarre. I've never seen that before, I think. Usually there's a little bit of plastic, but this is completely all rubber, and it's held in with these very simple sort of plungers here. And you can see the lenses right here. They actually look quite large. They are Fresnel, as most people have noticed by now in online commentary. And let's see here. This is a old HTC Vive Fresnel lens, and does look to be similar size, to be honest. So that claims of larger FOV. We're going to see how that actually goes in real-time use, because they look very similar to the HTC Vive's lens cup size. Now, another really strange choice that they went with this headset to clearly cut costs is they're using a single LCD panel in this headset, and they had an automatic IPD adjustment, but I think that's completely software because these things don't actually seem to move at all, and there's no dials to adjust that. It worries me that this headset has a pretty small sweet spot. There's going to be a very, very, very small amount of users to be able to get the full experience or the full FOV. If they do have such a large FOV, maybe they are focusing on FOV to get that wider clarity to cut down costs and everything. Similar how pancake lenses kind of have a larger FOV and even a larger sweet spot, which kind of allows them to say, some products are allowed to say that they have a bigger IPD value just from that. But I don't know. There's a lot of visible rings here, and we're going to see how that goes. The top strap as well, similar to the actual facial interface, is all rubber, and it seems to actually, yeah, look at that. There's only 3 levels of adjustment for the top strap, which is another very strange choice. I've again never seen this before, where you just have to pluck in the plunger to get the top strap. But I mean, it's better than no top strap after my experience with the Quest Pro. I think top straps are definitely the best compatibility with head shapes until headsets get really, really, really light. And most of them are not. Even this thing, even though it's very light and plasticky, I really think a top strap is just very useful. So we can also actually take off these Velcro things here. There's some interesting adjustability that you might be able to do with this, and even the front one here. DPVR is a company that I know they do a lot of stuff with enterprise and like media viewer headsets and stuff. So it wouldn't surprise me if they did this just so they can use this for their own enterprise uses and have it easily swap out for arcades or anything. That makes a lot of sense to me. 4 cameras. They say their tracking quality is very good. We'll see. Tracking is actually one of the hardest thing for new companies to iterate on themselves. And usually that's really kind of the end of it. If this thing does not have good tracking, that just is a non-starter to begin with. So we're going to see how that goes. You can see it runs through a wire into the headset here. Is this wire removable? It does not feel removable. Oh boy. Yeah, I don't want to mess with that. It does not feel removable. It goes into a very small link box here, which seems to go out into, is it an Oculink cable? That looks like an Oculink port. And there's a headphone jack here as well. So let's put that out of the way on the side. We'll come back to this later. And let's check out the controllers here. So you can see they're very, very small. It really seems like the joystick almost exactly like the Joy-Con controller, at least the actual way it's kind of embroidered on the top. Very, very strange. Obviously, there's a system button here, the logo. There's a grip button and a trigger. Very light controllers. Apparently, they take 2 AA batteries. So let me go ahead and open this up to see how that goes. Nope, one AA battery per controller, just like the Quest 2. The only reason I thought it was 2 AA per controller is because I saw this. So I don't know what's going on there. If we were to compare this controller to the Quest 2 controller, ooh, this thing's kind of dusty. Sorry about that. Again, very similar design. There's a bit of an angle with this ring. This just feels like a cheaper Quest controller, to be completely honest. And not much actual finger space to lay down. You're going to always be hovering on top of some button where there is sort of a resting room on here, as well as the capacitive touch thing that senses where your thumb is. There does not seem to be anything like that on the DPVR controller here. I don't like ring controllers to begin with like these, so I'm not the best judge of character yet. All right, let's get this out of the way and open the final box here. This will have all our cables and everything else in here. Okay, so we got a power adapter. Of course, this is a PC VR headset. You are not reliant on batteries, so you can consecutively spend many tiresome hours in VR chat. It's kind of my issue with a lot of standalone headsets, is that they don't have an ability to plug in directly like this. They always drain at some point, even if they are plugged into a computer or something. A lot of them just have to have a drain over time. Let's get this pulled off here. Strange. Is there 2 link boxes here? Very confused all of a sudden. So we have this one here. very confused now. Oh my god, it is Oculink. Okay, yeah. So, so it looks like this is opting to use two LinkBoxes. One that's directly attached to the headset, like here as we saw earlier, and then one that finally splits off into the, well, it looks like two cables here. Plus there's also the power that would attach here, so 3 cables. You have DisplayPort and USB 3. But the interesting thing, as I said earlier, is this seems to be an Oculink cable. If you don't know what Oculink is, it's the same cable that the Valve Index uses for its tether. Let me pull that out so you can see that. All right. Yep, so this is the Valve Index cable, and this is the DPVR. Both are using the very rare standard of Oculink. It's not named after Oculus. I know that's like the first thing people think. It was an old standard mostly for like, kind of like SATA data and everything. It wasn't used very much. It was mostly for direct to motherboard connections. But Valve used it for the tether for the Valve Index, and it looks like DPVR is one of the first ones to use it after Valve, which is very interesting to me. Putting back this thing together, this way of reattaching the facial interface is just very bizarre to me. I'm a big fan of magnetic interfaces. Like I can't even have trouble lining this thing up even with the. There we go. Yeah, you just gotta go one by one to plug the plunger back into the hole. Yes. Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting first impression. There we go. Let's peel these off. DPVR logos on the lens. Also, gotta put this head strap back on the way I had it. I just love their rubber. Their rubber supplier must be treating them very good. So here is a few headsets I put side by side, which would probably be the main PCVR competitors for this thing. And this is the Valve Index. This is the E4, DPVR E4. This is the HP Reverb G2.1, I guess you can call it. Not much different than the original HP Reverb G2, but recently bought this recently. So pretty similar. The specs wise, this is a 1440p panel LCD. This is around 1920 per eye panel, and this is 2160p per eye panel. All of them are wired. They all have their own audio. These two share the same audio system provided by Valve. This one does have audio, but you can see the audio is through a actual head strap pipe, similar to another headset I'm going to pull out just for a quick comparison, and that is the Quest 2. So the Quest 2, as you can see, it's a bit fatter and thicker. Of course, that's the reason is there's a lot more components inside the Quest 2. The benefit of doing PCVR is you can usually have higher components while also getting a smaller, lighter form factor because you don't have to fit SoC batteries and everything. So if you want to see the similarities between these two headsets, there you go. Very similar in terms of also camera locations too. Obviously, the camera location for the HP Reverb G2 is quite different than these other headsets. It's actually, this is more similar to what you're starting to see in what looks to be the Quest 3 and Quest Pro, having one camera at the side and 2 cameras on the front. Oh, as I said, I am sweating already. Like these lights give off so much heat. It's actually unbelievable. I can't even begin. But I do reel one quick. Actually put the thing on. I will be spending a week with this thing at the very least to try it out. But just to kind of put it on, let's see here. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, up, down, up. There we go. I think I got the sweet spot, at least for doing this neat little gimmick. But it is trying to fall off my head still. But DPVR, yeah. I will spend some time again, as I said, with it this week and tell you what I think. Really, the comfort of wearing it. It just feels like I will not be able to. I'm gonna be honest. I am a little nervous on trying to get this thing. I have to put this back thing as tight as I can. Otherwise, it just will want to slide off. And I do have the top strap. Let's try one more setting here. Nope, the top strap was at the highest level, so where it sinks down my forehead further. So a little nervous about that. Overall, I'm nervous about the product in general. I know they are a company who it needs to take a profit on hardware. They are relying entirely on the Steam VR market, the PC VR store, and the hardware is clearly very cheap to mass produce. And they are hoping that the other benefits that I will have when I actually power it on, test it, see the quality of the panels, or I should say panel, the FOV, the tracking, which is the most important. That's always very scary with a lot of these companies, and maybe it'll catch on for some people. But for now, first impressions is very nervous. I'm very, very nervous right now. But it uses Oculink, which is still, I'm a bit of a nerd that it's using that, so it's kind of neat. All right. Thanks to my Patreon subscribers you see here, and I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Videos coming. Yes. Bye.